In the world of the Dallas Cowboys, the saga of Micah Parsons continues to dominate every conversation, and honestly, it feels like we're stuck in this endless loop of frustration and anticipation. Following Jerry Jones's recent comments, both Micah Parsons and Trayvon Diggs have responded not necessarily with outright fire, but definitely with pointed remarks that show their displeasure beneath the surface. This whole situation with Parsons' contract has turned into something of a drawn-out drama, and honestly, it's exhausting to have to keep revisiting it. The saga has stretched on far longer than anyone expected, and yet here we are, still waiting for a deal to get done. While the clock keeps ticking and the preseason inches closer, what makes this story so compelling and frankly, so maddening is the way it exposes a recurring pattern with the Cowboys when it comes to handling their star players' contracts. You look around the league, and teams are consistently locking down their top talent, sometimes even overpaying because they understand the value of keeping their best players happy and motivated. Guys like TJ Watt and Max Crosby have been taken care of by their teams, getting contracts that reflect their impact on the field. Myles Garrett, another elite defender, also secured a deal that makes it clear his team values him. Meanwhile, Micah Parsons, arguably the most dynamic player on the Cowboys' defense, still hasn't sealed his long-term deal, and this has created a cloud of uncertainty not only for him but for the entire organization. Parsons has been vocal about his perspective, and it's clear he's frustrated. He's not one to shy away from the truth. He's seen how other players are being compensated, and he wants the same respect and acknowledgement. At the same time, he's been pretty clear that he doesn't want this to become a battle. His camp has made repeated efforts to engage with the Cowboys front office. His agent has reached out multiple times, but reportedly, there has been little to no response from Dallas. That silence speaks volumes. Communication, after all, is a two-way street. If only one side is making an effort, progress can happen. It's not like this kind of situation is new for the Cowboys. History shows a pattern of delayed negotiations and prolonged contract battles. You only have to look back at the experiences of other key players, CeeDee Lamb, Dak Prescott, Zach Martin, to see a similar story unfold. These are not isolated incidents but part of a cultural trend that seems ingrained in the organization. The repeated delays don't just frustrate the players, they foster an atmosphere of mistrust and dissatisfaction, which inevitably affects team morale and performance. The bigger picture here is that Micah Parsons is more than just a player. He's a cornerstone of this defense, yet instead of having this secured, it feels like the Cowboys are dragging their feet for reasons no one fully understands. The media has asked the team about this contract from every angle possible, but the answers have been vague or non-existent. Fans and analysts alike try to make sense of the situation, searching for any rationale that justifies the hold-up. The frustrating truth is that there isn't a good explanation, it's simply poor management. What's especially striking is how this delay invites wild speculation. Without clarity from the Cowboys, the narrative fills in the blanks, often with negative or damaging theories. This isn't just about money, it's about respect, trust, and the message the organization sends to its players. Micah Parsons, by all accounts, deserves to be treated as one of the highest priorities. Yet this contract impasse suggests otherwise. Micah himself has spoken openly about how he views this whole ordeal. He's expressed disappointment and surprise, indicating that both he and the Cowboys thought a deal was within reach. The involvement of his agent seems to be a sticking point for Dallas, as some in the front office reportedly prefer to avoid direct negotiations through agents. This preference has complicated the process, prolonging the stalemate and pushing the situation into a territory where both sides are waiting on each other, yet nothing moves forward. What's even more telling is how Micah has handled the pressure. He's remained professional, showing up to training camp, participating to the extent possible, and making it clear that his motivation extends beyond just himself. Parsons talks about being there for his teammates, players like Trayvon Diggs, Donovan Wilson, and Sam Williams, who rely on his presence and leadership on the field. That sense of responsibility to the team is admirable, and it paints a picture of a player committed to more than just his paycheck. At the same time, you can sense the underlying frustration. Micah has acknowledged the repeated pattern of these drawn-out contract battles within the Cowboys organization, saying he doesn't take it personally anymore because he's seen it all before. That statement alone speaks volumes about the culture surrounding contract negotiations in Dallas. It's not just about the business, it's about how these repeated delays and the apparent lack of urgency create a toxic environment, one that chips away at the trust between players and management. One of the biggest contrasts in all this is how different the Cowboys' approach is compared to teams like the Philadelphia Eagles, who have become the gold standard in the NFC. The Eagles have set an example by taking care of their players quickly and efficiently, avoiding prolonged contract disputes that can distract from team goals. If Micah Parsons were in Philadelphia, the consensus is he'd already be signed on a record-setting deal, free of drama. But in Dallas, instead of celebrating Parsons' emerging stardom, the headlines are dominated by contract holdups and the ongoing drama surrounding his future. The implications extend beyond just Parsons. Trayvon Diggs, another key defensive player, has also publicly responded to recent comments from ownership, especially regarding his contract situation and the Cowboys applying a de-escalator clause related to his absence from voluntary workouts. Diggs says he understood the clause was part of his contract, but was surprised by the team's decision to enforce it. He feels his rehab process away from the team was the right choice. Even if the organization disagreed, the tension there underscores a deeper issue within the Cowboys' culture and management style between Diggs and Parsons. It feels like we might be witnessing the beginning of the end of an era for some of Dallas' defensive stars. Comments from ownership suggest dissatisfaction with how certain players have handled their contracts or rehab processes. This recalls previous situations, like the one with Amari Cooper, where frustration with a player's approach or availability led to a souring of relationships and eventual departures. When the business side of football overshadows the on-field camaraderie, it can signal the unraveling of key player-team bonds. Throughout all of this, Micah Parsons continues to impress on the field, even while contract talks linger. His participation in training camp remains somewhat limited, largely due to the back tightness that some suspect is more of a strategic holdout than a genuine injury. Regardless, his commitment to football is undeniable. Parsons is clearly eager to get back on the field and perform, which makes the drawn-out negotiation process even more perplexing. Fans, analysts, and insiders alike wonder, will the Cowboys finally pay Micah Parsons before the regular season kicks off? Training camp has already come and gone without a deal, and the pressure is mounting. The stakes are high, the clock is ticking, and the frustration is palpable not just from Parsons and his camp, but from the fan base that wants to see their star player secured and focus solely on football. As this story unfolds, it remains a testament to the complexities of NFL contract negotiations and the unique challenges within the Dallas Cowboys organization. Parsons' case highlights the delicate balance between player value, organizational priorities, and the often complicated dynamics behind the scenes. It's a narrative filled with hope, tension, and plenty of unanswered questions, and one that we'll be watching closely as the season draws nearer. As the contract saga around Micah Parsons continues to unravel, the spotlight on the Dallas Cowboys' internal dynamics grows even more intense. The silence from the front office in response to Parsons' camp's repeated attempts to negotiate has left many wondering about the true priorities within the organization. Jerry Jones, the towering figure in Cowboys ownership, has always been known for his hands-on approach and sometimes fiery public statements. Yet his current strategy, or lack thereof, regarding Parsons seems more evasive than assertive. This has led to growing speculation that the Cowboys might be holding out for a better deal, or are perhaps testing Parsons' resolve. The question that lingers in the minds of fans and insiders alike is how long this standoff can persist before it starts to cause irreparable damage, not only to Parsons' career but to the entire team's chemistry. But before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the Dallas Cowboys. Feel free to share your thoughts on the news in the comments as well. A new era could be dawning in Dallas, and the buzz around the NFL is already heating up with whispers that the Dallas Cowboys might be closing in on a blockbuster defensive acquisition. Rumors are swirling that Nick Bosa, one of the league's most feared pass rushers, could soon become the cornerstone of the Cowboys' defense through the 2030 season. If this comes to pass, it would mark a seismic shift in the Cowboys' defensive strategy and signal their intent to dominate on both sides of the ball for years to come. Nick Bosa, the reigning powerhouse from the San Francisco 49ers, has long been regarded as a game-changer on defense. His relentless pass rush and ability to disrupt defenses have made him a household name and a nightmare for quarterbacks across the league. Speculation suggests that Dallas is prepared to make a massive commitment to bring Bosa into their fold. potentially reshaping the identity of their defensive unit. The Cowboys have been in need of a defensive anchor for some time. While their offense continues to impress, the defensive side has occasionally struggled to live up to the high standards expected in Dallas. The arrival of a player like Bosa could be the catalyst that turns their defense into one of the most feared in the NFL. With Bosa's explosive talent and leadership qualities, he could serve as the pillar the Cowboys desperately need to complement their star-studded offense. Insiders hint that Dallas is ready to offer Bosa a long-term deal that would keep him in Texas through the 2030 season, a move that would show the organization's dedication to building a championship-caliber team around him. Such a contract would not only cement Bosa's legacy in Dallas, but also send a strong message to their rivals that the Cowboys are gearing up for a sustained period of dominance. Of course, nothing is set in stone yet. Both sides would have to navigate complex negotiations, including salary cap considerations and potential trade details. But the mere possibility of Bosa in a Cowboys uniform has already set the NFL community abuzz. Fans are dreaming of a defense that can match the Cowboys' offensive firepower, and analysts are weighing the impact of such a transformative move. If this rumor holds water, the Cowboys' front office would be taking a bold gamble, one that could pay massive dividends. A defense led by Nick Bosa might be just what Dallas needs to finally break through and claim the elusive Super Bowl title. For now, all eyes remain on the rumor mill, as this potential deal could rewrite the Cowboys' future and reshape the NFL's defensive landscape for the better part of the decade. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Dallas Cowboys, please subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. We always look forward to your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.